Well, hello and welcome everybody to the new health conversation and especially the sensors. We want to assure you that we stay within the community guidelines at the new health conversation. We only quote what's in the medical journals. We only quote what's in the public domain. So every person has the option to go and look up everything we're talking about. We don't make claims. We don't make anything we talk about is completely safe and it's been medically proven. We've also written 4 best-selling books of some of the top medical doctors in the world, and we come from a medical perspective only based on scientific facts. We don't give anybody's opinions, and we certainly don't make any claims. So I just wanted to clear that up. Well, hello, Michael Bender. Hello, Meg. Cool guy. Perry Bola, Addicted, Odette, Bubbies, lots of people. So I'm sure right away most of you are looking at that headline and thinking, wait a minute, is that real? Is that fake? Is it AI? Is it Photoshopped? Are we just trying to get your attention? This is going to change everything you've ever thought about diet, exercise, nutrition. This took 40 years of research by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. They did over 100 studies, thousands of people over 40 years, and figured out first the diets weren't working. Every single diet they ever put anybody on, people lost weight initially, but every 2/3 of people ended up weighing more than when they started. I'm sure some of you know the yo-yo effect, but we're going to explain it to you scientifically today, and then I'm going to show you exactly what they did, because this is not, there's no products here. This isn't some lotion, potion, pill, capsule you take. No, nothing like that. Believe it or not, it's based on completely new food combinations and completely new ways of looking at how we should be eating, when we should be eating, how much we should be eating, etc. Not a diet. Has nothing to do with dieting. Has nothing to do with counting calories. But I'd love for anybody to put in the chat, hello, Adeti. Hello, Bubbies. Hello, Nerd Lover. I love that. How about Patty? Welcome, everybody. Look, I see these people coming on, especially on social media. And really, they seem like nice people. They're giving you this nonsense about, oh, we'll eat between 8 and you don't eat until noon the next day. Well, we've got the medical proof showing you that's one of as a matter of fact, most of what you lose on that's called time-restricted eating, where you don't eat for 16 hours, you eat for 8. Right in the study from the Journal of the American Medical Association, they said a 3-month study, people gained almost no benefit from it. They lost 2 to 3.5 pounds in 3 months, and the majority of what they were losing was lean muscle mass, one of the most unhealthy things you can do. But not to pick on just intermittent fasting, or sorry, time-restricted eating, but every diet out there now has proven 25 to 40% of what you're losing on any diet is lean muscle mass. In this case, this woman's name is Kristen. Look at her waist on day 1 and look at her waist on day 30. You might want to note she did no exercise. They were not allowed to exercise by the researchers. Not that they were against exercise, but they wanted to eliminate it as a factor. Otherwise, you'd say, oh, she lost weight because it was diet and exercise. Does this make sense to everybody? And I'd love for anybody to put in the comment, your question for me. I promise I'm going to explain to you exactly what to do. But she's not the only one. Let me show you the next woman. And all of these are from the medical trials. So nothing we're giving you is made up. And you can think we photoshopped it. The reason I would tell you we didn't is if you look at this first page here, look right above my head in blue, the new health conversation. It's a movement, but that's the website you can go to and see the medical proof. There's nothing to buy on that website, okay? It's only the medical proof. And if you like what you see, you can literally scroll down and get a free coach. You don't buy anything from us. You don't buy anything from the researchers. You're buying 30% of the food, and you get a list from the grocery store, and the other 70% from these other researchers who had gone around the world for 20 years to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small. The quantity didn't really matter. We'll get to that, I promise, in a moment. Just please be patient. I promise it'll be worth it. If you're on a diet right now, you're going to want to learn, stop that diet. It's just ridiculous that you're even thinking that that diet's going to cause you to lose weight. Not that you're not going to lose weight, you will, but you can't keep it off. And that's not my opinion. We're going to show you Harvard Medical School. We're going to show you Medicare. We're going to show you study after study showing you that calories in, calories out is dead, finished, over. Even Harvard Medical School is saying stop counting calories. So let's look at a couple more examples, and then I promise I'm going to share with you exactly what they did. Let's look at Julie, everybody. She lost 35 pounds in 37 days, so a little over 5 weeks. Look at her picture on the left, and then look at the picture on the right. Now, you can think it's Photoshop. You can think we lied about the times. It doesn't matter. That's the reality of what's possible with this new protocol, which is called R2M, Race to Maintenance. For those coming on just now, it's not a diet. It's not about counting calories. It's a revolutionary new way of food combinations, never put together before on this planet, and totally new ways of consuming food. And it was created, developed, invented, whatever you want to call it, by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world, not me. My name is Peter Greenlaw. I've been a nutritional researcher for 23 years. The only reason that should matter to you is that I have a lot of experience. I wrote 4 best-selling books with some of the top medical doctors in the world. As a matter of fact, our first book, which was a huge bestseller, was called Why Diets Are Failing Us. We wrote it in 2010, and we proved that this whole thing, well, our theory was that why are we counting calories when the human body has no idea what a calorie even is? I've done 20 shows on PBS, and I have lectured live in person in universities and hospitals and towns. I even went to China. But for 22 of my 23 years in the medical world, all of that meant zero. Why? Because there were no what are called peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. This, what I'm going to share with you today, is backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. Can you show me anybody else on social media with one peer-reviewed human trial study about what they're telling you about paleo or keto or Mediterranean or time-restricted eating or calories in, calories out? They can't. I've never seen one. I could be wrong. Nothing's 100%. If you know of an influencer that's showing you, I don't care about clinical studies. I don't care about scientific papers. It has to be a peer-reviewed human trial, clinical human trial. It has to be with human beings. It can't be with mice, rats, or chimpanzees, or zebras, or whatever else. We're in a terrible situation, everybody. And I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but somebody has to stand up for you and say, look, enough is enough. We're now, according to Johns Hopkins Medical School, wait till you hear this. Study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. 86% of Americans will be overweight or obese in 4.5 years. Does that sound to you like diets are working? But the evidence is overwhelming that counting calories is ridiculous. The human body has no idea what a calorie is. I'll prove it to you. Debbie, I promise I'm going to explain it to you in just a moment. Just give me a little bit, give me like 60 seconds more. So where you go, Debbie, before I even explain it to you, do you see right above my head, give me a yes, see the new health conversation. Debbie, that's a free medical website. If you go there, Debbie, we won't contact you. We don't need to. We're scientists. That's the medical proof, including an interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. It's free to go there. If you go there, Deb, and you like what you see, you can see right above my head, free coaching. Free coaching. It's absolutely free. We don't charge. We were coached, just so you know. So now, Deb, I'm going to explain to you how in the world did she do this. So the researchers that created it, like I said, they've had 40 years of study, 100 studies, thousands of people, every diet you could name. And they came to a conclusion that diets were miserable failures for one simple reason. The emphasis on every diet that I know of, maybe you know something different, is based on some form of counting calories, calories in, calories out. Well, let's just say that's completely been debunked. I'll show you the evidence here in a moment. And why you're counting calories is because someone told you that. No, here's how your body actually works. When you're hungry, you are not hungry for calories. Get that out of your mind. Your body runs, my body runs on a minimum amount of nutrition, not a minimum amount of calories. Does everybody get that? When you go on a diet, this is what the researchers figured. You reduce the amount of food you're consuming, and until now, well, until 12 years ago when these studies were started, they hadn't even looked at that. When you lower the amount of food, because they were concentrating on calories, you lower nutrition. Okay. But when you lower nutrition and the brain figures that out, it freaks out, goes in starvation mode, and immediately stops you from accessing the fuel inside your fat cell and turns to your muscles for fuel. That is one of the most unhealthy things that you could ever do inadvertently to yourself. As you begin to lose muscle, what does the brain do? It begins to slow down your immune system. That's why you lose weight initially on these diets, then it's a trickle, and then you plateau, and you can't figure it out. No matter, you eat less, and you still can't lose any weight. Yeah, because once you slow your metabolism down to that point, you're not losing any more weight because the weight you're losing is lean muscle mass. But the other thing it's doing to you that's way worse, by losing lean muscle, this is proven, this isn't an opinion on my part, you absolutely slow down your immune system. So these very diets that you're on right now, or thinking about, or were on, whatever, you're making yourself unhealthy. I mean, you think I'm crazy? No. The medical research supports all of that. We only talk in terms of pure medical research. We're not here to convince you. We're not here to sell you. We do have a movement, The New Health Conversation. We would hope you would join us, but you can go to the website for free and see all the medical proof and then make a decision. You want to learn about this, you want to get a coach, and the coaching's free the whole time. So let's talk about her. She lost 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days. Look from day one stomach, look at her stomach area, and look at day 30. That's with no exercise allowed because the research didn't want exercise to be an outlier. Yes, thanks for all those taps. Okay, let's go. So is Ben Berman wrong? Who's Ben Berman, Linda? How much for the program? Is Ben, Linda, who's Ben Berman? So let's talk about Ben Berman. How much is the program you're going to spend about what you spend now on food for a month, just to give you an idea? Now, you didn't give me a chance, Linda. Let me explain to you what they did. But I want to know who Ben Bickman, who is he? Where is he? Just tell me. It's hard for me to comment if I don't know who he is and where he's from. I'm not sure. What is he saying that's contradictory to what I'm telling you? Just to let me know. In Ben Professor, right? Where? Well, I promise we'll come back to it in a moment, but everybody else is anxious to find out how they actually did this because Ben Bickman never produced anything like this, and to my knowledge, he doesn't have one peer-reviewed human trial medical study. If he doesn't, whatever he's telling you is total nonsense, okay? Number one, let's just start with that. This is published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world by the not Ben Bickman, but the #1 rated weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world, voted by his peers, the #1 person in the world, and 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. Ben Bickman does not have 10 in the USA. Ben Bickman does not have 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. Now I know who it is. He gets quoted a lot. He talks about calorie reduction, but he has no proof. He's never produced anything like this. Never, ever, ever. Okay? So why is this so different? Why is it unique? Because they said they want to have nothing to do with calorie counting. It was only about not the fact the quantity of food people consumed. The researchers went and put together food groups with very high levels of nutrition and very small quantities of food. That's what made it work. It wasn't a diet because it wasn't based on calories. So 30% of what you would take on this, all of you, comes from your grocery store. You literally would get a free grocery list of proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But that list was based not on their quantity. Actually, it wasn't based on calories. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Sorry. It was based on serving sizes, not on the number of calories. So that was 30% of what you would purchase from the grocery store. So someone's asking me about the cost. So imagine, take your total groceries, whatever you spent last month, only 30% while you're doing this, you would go to the grocery store and spend. The other 70% comes from foods from around the world, from places like Russia and Mongolia and Tibet and South America, New Zealand. With all due respect to Ben Bickman, he's using food in North America. In case you didn't know, our food in North America is all but nutritionally bankrupt. There's no way on earth. The researchers did this. They tried to do it with food from America. It never worked. That's why they went to other researchers that had gone to these areas of the world like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, with these huge amounts of nutrition and very small quantities of food. So now they had the ingredients, right? 30% from the grocery store, 70% from these foods you can't buy at the grocery store. Then they created two completely new ways of eating. 5 days a week, everybody had 4 meals a day. You heard me, 4 meals a day. Starting with these exotic foods from around the world. That was breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a fourth meal after dinner, these exotic foods from around the world. 2 days a week, she did something, this will spin all of you. Listen to me carefully, everybody. Intermittent, nutritional, notice the word nutritional, fasting, a totally new concept. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods from around the world. But this time, she ate 8 times a day. 8 times a day. We'll look at the results. But here's the other thing that a Bickman has never even showed. They measured, for example, hunger came down 41% in a month. Inflammation, which plagues all of us, including Bickman, including everybody, it came down 25% in a month. Again, Bickman, not one shred of evidence, any contact with, I'm not saying he had people lose weight, but that's not the reason to do this. The other thing he's not even taken into account, doesn't probably even know about it, is this new medical syndrome called TDOS that everybody has, including me. T for toxicity, D for nutritional deficiency of our food in North America, being overweight and stress. It's a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office of a new medical condition. No diet that Bickman's ever suggested or anybody suggested up until now has ever shown the ability to remove even a gram of these toxic chemicals that we're storing inside our bodies. You don't have to believe me. Go look in the literature now. herbicides, pesticides, Scotch-Guard, Jeff, my God, a month ago they came out and said they're finding microplastics in our brain and in our coronary arteries. No diet's dealing with that. This isn't a diet. It doesn't work like that. You trying to tell me any diet you've ever seen, 21 pounds, 38 inches in a month? Or how about my friend's daughter? Oh, how about 60 pounds in 3 months? 60. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body. That's not Photoshop. That's not retouch. You trying to tell me any diet's ever produced that? Aren't you all curious? Some of you at least? Wow, we got 158 likes. Can we get some more taps on the screen? Let's see. Who else would like to know? Good for him, Linda. It doesn't matter. If he doesn't have peer-reviewed human trial studies, it doesn't mean a damn thing. I don't care if he's a metabolic scientist, I don't care if he's a rocket scientist, and he doesn't have 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies, and he's basically quoting antiquated calories in, calories out, to be quite honest with you. And this is going to change everything. These researchers, the top people in the world, they've been cited over 9,400 times. I mean, come on. I mean, everybody, okay, Radiant Love, here's how you find out. Okay, do you see that above my head there, Radiant, and everybody else? The new health conversation. The new health conversation. You see that? That's the free medical website. You can go there. What's there? Only the medical proof, including an interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. That's not Ben Bickman. Okay? And he explains, they've done 400 studies, thousands of people over 40 years. They'll never recommend any form of traditional diet ever again on this planet. I mean, I don't know Professor Berkman. I'm sure he's well-intentioned, et cetera, and I don't have. All I'm doing is telling you that when you've got 10 peer-reviewed human, counting calories just doesn't work. It's not even me saying that. Harvard Medical School, right here, stop counting calories. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, she said. It's time to take a different approach by concentrating on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. And I don't know, maybe Professor Bickman, maybe he does. All I'm saying is that counting calories is dead. If he's promulgating counting calories in to lose weight, sorry, this blows that away. That's all. He's a very smart guy. That I know. I'm not way smarter than me. I'm not the researcher like him or these other people. But I'm reporting the news. I'm just telling you what we're seeing. No one's ever produced these kind of results ever. I mean, look at this gentleman, this older gentleman, everybody. 40 pounds and 52 inches, that's 10 pounds a week. Look at his A1C, went from 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124 in 30 days. I don't know, if Bickman's got something like that, God, bring it on. And if he's got peer-reviewed human trial studies, bring it on, it's great. So I guess I need to apologize because I don't know for sure. I know, if it's who I think it is, very smart person, no doubt about it. Lots and lots of research, but research on what? On something that doesn't work long term. Okay, let me read another big study. See, here's the thing. How about the science behind why diets don't work? These researchers reviewed more than 30 long-term studies showing that diets actually cause weight gain. The more diets someone has tried, the more they weigh. So not only does dieting not work for long-term weight loss, but it's also associated with increased risk of binge eating, eating disorders, and long-term weight gain. How do you think we went from 15% overweight in 1964, where they're now projecting in 4.5 years, Johns Hopkins Medical School, we're going to be at 86% overweight and 50% obese? How does that square up in your mind? Do you think any of these things, if anybody had a solution, they would come to the forefront? They'd have $1 trillion industry. Okay, well, Linda, then that makes me feel a lot better. But Linda, is it okay? Don't get mad at me. The time-restricted eating, can I share the medical proof with you? Is that okay, Linda? Please give me a yes. Linda, I'm not trying to be argumentative, okay? All I'm telling you is that let's take a look at 2 huge studies on time-restricted eating that he's promoting, okay? The first one in the Journal of the American Medical Association. Got it, Linda? Listen. I'm reading from the study, just so you understand, okay? This is not an opinion. This is in a medical journal. In the Journal of the American Medical Association, new research found that overweight adults who were assigned to routinely fast 16 hours daily, time-restricted eating, over the course of 3 months, gained almost no benefit from it. Over the course of that 3 months, they lost an average of 2 to 3.5 pounds, and most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. Linda, that's what's going on. Don't believe me? Let's go to one more. This one published in the Annals of Internal Medicine. You can go and look it up. This was, again, a 3-month study conducted by the Annals of Internal Medicine. Listen to what they said. They had 2 groups of people. One people did time-restricted eating, which he's promoting, versus just lowering calories. 3 months. At the end of 3 months, the people who did time-restricted eating lost 4.6 pounds, and those doing calorie reduction lost 5.2 pounds. The studies said that any suggestions that time-restricted eating on weight in any prior study was due to anything other than calorie reduction was totally false. It's not my opinion, Linda. It's not my opinion. God love him if he's doing that. But you have to understand the results he's producing, because we have the data on time-restricted eating. It's pitiful. 2 studies now in a row say that you're losing about 1.5 pounds a month. Wait a minute, Kristen, how'd she do? She lost basically in a week what took people 3 months on this time-restricted eating. Linda, this is not made up. This is the real. Look, we have the medical proof. You can go see for yourself on the website for free, Linda. We won't even contact you. Isn't that fair? Is that fair or not? And of course, ultra-processed food would just be part of it. But that doesn't. There's no comparison. I mean, my friend's daughter, look at this. According to this study, for her to lose 60 pounds based on the numbers, so they lost, what did they say, 4.6 pounds. It would take her 15 weeks. No, it'd take her 15 months. Sorry, 3 months, 4 pounds. Yeah, so it would take her, it'd take her about 1.5 years to lose 60 pounds. Compared to this, it's not. Yes, Linda, I'll tell you the website. Linda, don't be mad at me. I'm just a passionate scientist. I've been at this for 23 years, and these people, they've cracked the code. They really have cracked the code. So right there above my head in blue, Linda, do you see it? Give me a yes, the New Health Conversation. I promise, Linda, if you go there, we won't contact you. We're not going to call you. We're not going to text you. We're scientists. We don't need to do that, right? But if you like what you see, Linda, right above my name, you can see free coaching to ensure your success. It's free coaching. They'll talk to you. Look, we got kids as young as 2 doing this, Linda. We have a lady 91 years old. We have people with no thyroids. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with no gallbladders. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or making any medical claims. But here's something that should excite you. Bickman's not doing this. This is the June 9th issue of Women's World, the #1 women's magazine in the world. Featured news story, over 50 protein miracle. This is the #1 women's magazine. You think they'd put this on the cover if it wasn't real? And why did they do it? Because there's 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. All the studies, like I'm telling you, there's more studies on like this time-restricted eating. It's just a joke. It's just, all it is a diet where you're going to, at the end of the day, like they said, it's just based on less calories. Well, it's nuts. The human body has no idea what a calorie is. Why isn't he telling people it's all about nutrition? I mean, I'm not the top researcher in the world, but we're looking at the research of the top researchers in the world. Does that make sense? Sim-Ram, how? Okay, I'm going to explain it to you. Thank you very much, Linda, for being, and again, I know he's a really smart guy, and I don't mean to disparage him in any way, but coming out there and claiming that somehow time-restricted eating works, it doesn't. Look, I mean, here's Medicare. Linda, stick around for just a moment. This is from Medicare, a new big study. Listen to this. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. The Medicare researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether any diet is an effective treatment for obesity. The study showed, Linda, that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost on any diet we studied. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. He's probably seeing results on time-restricted eating, but it's not even in the same zip code as this. And Medicare is saying, yeah, you're going to lose weight initially on any of these diets, but 2/3 of people are weighing more than they started. What are we doing? This is like insanity. We're listening to really smart people with the same old dogma. They're just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic and thinking it's not going to sink. If we're going to 86% of Americans are overweight and obese in 4.5 years, do you think what Bickman or paleo or keto or and it's working? It's not. It's a joke. This is going to change the world. I mean, look at this. Come on. Based on the study I just shared with you, she lost 21 pounds. They lost 4.6 pounds in 3 months. It would take 15 months for them to lose 21 pounds. I was wrong on the numbers before with my friend who lost 60 pounds. Do the math yourself. If they lost 4.6 pounds in 3 months, let's say times 5, say it's 14 months. Do you see how ridiculous this whole thing is? And people are telling us it's good? It's crazy. Badly diabetic just joined, Simran. Okay, I'm gonna explain it to you, I promise. Okay, Simran, let me show you something, and then I'm going to explain how to look. Wait till you see this A1C. Look at how old this gentleman is. 40 pounds and 52 inches in a month, Simran. Look at his A1C. Went from 8.4 to 6.4 in just 30 days. Simran, how excited would you be even with that much of a drop? It would be probably more for you because your A1C is even higher. By the way, Simran, this was invented by a diabetic chemist 25 years ago. Yep, diabetic chemist is who's invented this long ago. Now, it's been refined and brought up to date. And of course, back in then, there were no medical trials to back it up. You can go see the medical trials, Simran. You can see the blood sugar. You can see the A1C. You can see the cholesterol. You can see, look at his triglycerides. Simran, look at that. Went from 242 to 124. Plus, that's 10 pounds a week. Well, Simran, what do you think about that? I'm sure you want to know how he did it, right? I'm going to tell you in 1 second. All right, so let's take a look at Kristen. So everyone, this is 5 pounds a week. Would anybody be unhappy if you could lose 5 pounds a week? When they're showing on these diets, it takes you 3 months to lose 5 pounds. Okay, so here's what's so different about this, Simran and everybody else. The whole concept of dieting is totally useless. Does anybody know the definition of a calorie, the medical definition? If you do, put it in the comment. I'll keep going. Now, why am I asking you this? Because the human body has no idea what a calorie is. The human body doesn't count calories. All the human body cares about is one thing, a minimum amount, excuse me, not of calories, nutrition. So what is a diet really, everyone? When you go on a diet, think about this, you lower the amount of food you're consuming. What else you're lowering by definition? You're lowering nutrition. When the brain figures out there's not enough nutrition to run all your organs, because your organs, brain, kidney, liver, heart, etc., run on what? It don't run on calories. They run on nutrition. Am I making sense to everybody? Does this make logical sense to you? Because this is what these research after 40 years kind of came to that conclusion. The key was not what the quantity of food you were consuming. What mattered was the quantity of nutrition you were getting. So they set out, this was 13 years ago when they started these studies, with a new concept. They were going to put together food lists. So 30% of what she consumed, what you would consume, Sin Man, or anybody else, was a grocery list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But instead of giving you calorie amounts, they would give you serving sizes. And the researchers picked these foods for the amount of nutrition in them, not for their quantity. Very important. And you got serving sizes. Again, very important. But the researchers worked it out for you. You'd get a grocery list of exactly what to buy at the grocery store. But that's only 30% of what you would buy or consume in a month. The other 70% came from these other exotic foods from around the world in places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. Now, why was that important? Because these foods represented huge amounts of nutrients, that just don't exist in those kind of quantities in North America. And some of the nutrients don't even exist in the United States. Some of the ingredients like in Mongolia and in Tibet that lower stress and lower inflammation in your body, for example. This is not a diet, okay? Now, what did they specifically do with these foods? Well, the researchers invented 2 new ways of eating food based on new principles. I'm going to explain to you right now. 5 days a week, she was having 4 meals a day. Now, it wasn't just she was having 4 meals. She started, breakfast was the exotic foods around the world. Lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods around the world. Nobody was hungry. Nobody was hungry. But the key to this, because it's called protein pacing, was feeding over a period of time, spreading it out over like 10 or 12 hours. That made a huge difference in the way that the body was able to use the nutrients in the most efficient way to get the most impact, because it wasn't about the quantity they were consuming. It was about the quality. But then also how it was dispersed made all the difference in the world. So 5 days a week, 4 meals a day on very specific timelines, right? 2 days a week, she did something, and you would do, now this will spin you out. Listen to me carefully. Intermittent, nutritional. Keep the word nutritional in your brain. Fasting, but not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store at all, none, zero food. Only 70% of what she consumed came from these exotic foods around the world. But this time, they were letting her eat 8 times a day. Yep, she was eating about every hour and a half. Again, the timing was critically important. So it wasn't just like, oh, we had a big breakfast and then she had dinner. It didn't work like that. They proved that you had to space this out, especially if you're going to do nutritional fasting, not fasting. And look at the results, everybody. Well, yeah, but there's, Simran, there's a vegan version of this. There's protein in vegan, like pea protein, chia seeds. There's definitely alternatives, so don't worry about that. Eggs are allowed, of course. Of course, eggs are allowed. But again, the most important thing, Simran, for you, anybody else, that's why you want to get a coach. That's why you want to go to get a free coach. Go look at the medical, Simran. Go look at the medical information. Because, okay, you want to bring your A1C down, you want to lose weight. What are you going to, seriously, Simran, what diet are you going to go on that you think is going to work for you long term? Please put it in the chat. I'd love to know. But again, I want you to understand there definitely are vegetarian proteins. Proteins come either from plants or from animals. So that's not a problem, and they definitely have a plant-based version of this. I mean, they don't want to exclude people that the researchers didn't. It had nothing to do with me. I didn't invent this. It has nothing to do with me, right? We're stuck at only 158 likes. Can we get some more taps on that screen? I mean, is this valuable information or not? And you've got a free website that you can go to, and we won't even contact all of you. I mean, look at these people, though. Would you like to know? That's my good friend's daughter. How about 60 pounds in 3 months? I'd love anybody to comment. Yes, let's keep tapping on the screen to get prevention on lack. Yeah, I already read that, Simran. Absolutely, you can do. There are vegetable proteins, Simran. I get that. No, there's vegetable proteins. Don't worry about that. Go and get a coach. That's the most important thing, and they'll go over everything with you and show you the food list, etc., for no charge. The coaching's free. We got coached for free. So we're at 176. Oh, Bubby's House sent a rose. Thank you, Bubby's House. Can we get some more taps on there? 177. I've been on for 33 minutes. I mean, either it's Happy Father's Day for all the fathers out there, by the way. I forgot to say that, including myself. I got 2 sons and 4 grandkids, so hopefully I'll be getting a lot of calls today. But for the rest of you fathers, and I'm not sure if they celebrate Father's Day all over the world. I don't know. I really don't know. So maybe somebody can put it in the chat and tell me. I'll get educated. Obviously, we do in the United States. I believe in Canada. I'm not sure about the rest of the world, but that's an interesting question. So I'd love anybody to comment on the picture. Do you think it's the same woman? Are we lying to you? Did we Photoshop it? Is it AI or is it real? How do I get free coach? What should I buy? Simran, you don't know. You're missing the point. Simran, just give me a yes. Do you see the website, the New Health Conversation? Give me a yes, Simran, if you see it. I'm just waiting for him to tell me whether he sees the website there. For all of you, actually. Okay, Jennifer, slow down a minute, Jennifer. Let me finish. I can only do one person at a time. I'm sorry, I promise. Give me like 30 seconds. So Simran, do you see the website, the New Health Conversation? All right, well, I'll just wait for him to answer. But also for you, Jennifer, the New Health Conversation, that's where all the medical proof of everything I'm saying. So as far as the exotic foods go that come from around the world, In some cases, it's not a food per se, it's the nutrients that are in the foods, and they're taken in different ways. Some of the foods from these exotic areas around the world, you would drink it as pretty much as a tea, or maybe as a soup, or as a broth, etc. It's totally different than in itself. Yes, you're getting protein, fat, carbs, vegetables, and fruits from the grocery store, about 30%. But I'll give you some examples of what's an exotic food. It's not an exotic food, it's what's in the food that would make it exotic. So one of the things we need the most, Jennifer, are what are called trace ionic minerals. Now, you've heard of iron, calcium, magnesium. I'm going to assume maybe if you have, great. If you haven't heard of trace minerals, I'm going to tell you what they are. We need 70 to give you an idea, Jennifer, to be ideally healthy, right? In the best organic food they found in North America only had 20 of the 70 trace ionic minerals. Now, what are trace ionic minerals? Things like gold and silver and zinc and beryllium and boron and molybdenum. Well, the researchers, one of the foods they found had all 70 trace ionic minerals. Another one of the nutrients they found, it had 12 naturally occurring vitamins. See, the problem is if you're taking supplements now in a pill form, it's made in a laboratory, they're synthetic. They're not, I mean, they work, but not to the level that is natural in our body. Another thing is prebiotic fiber. Now, why is prebiotic fiber different than probiotics? Well, probiotics are the good gut bacteria you're taking, but a prebiotic allows your body to make more good flora. And to back up any claims that I'm making, because they're not claims, there's a huge study that was published on this, nothing to do with the weight loss part. It's in Nature Communications, the #1 medical journal in the world, #1. And the title is Gut Microbiome. That is your gut. Remodeling and metabolic profile improved drastically in response to protein pacing and intermittent nutritional fasting. They showed that in just a month's time, what's called the diversity of the gut flora increased by 25% just in 30 days. This is not a diet. This is way more than a diet. So these nutrients, like the prebiotic fiber, contributed to the fact that the gut health improved dramatically, along with the 70 trace minerals, along with electrolytes, lots of other things. But in terms of saying, well, you're eating more kale, or you're having more spinach, or you're having more asparagus, or you're having more, no, it doesn't work like that. These exotic foods were, I guess to state it correctly, would be more like exotic nutrients. There's no capsules, there's no pills, there's nothing synthetic. And some of the foods, to give you an idea, Jennifer, come from areas of the world where people are living to be 100 years old and they don't get sick. I mean, the medical, well, I'll just show you one example. Look at this older guy. He lost 40 pounds and 52 inches. And you think, oh my God, that's incredible, or it's unsafe. But look at his blood work. Look at his A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides from 242 to 124 in 30 days. It's never been seen before. These researchers did 40 years of research, 100 studies. Nothing to do with me. I didn't invent this. We're reporting on it. We're making you aware of it. The sad part is I'd say almost every one of you is going to go back to whatever diet you were on, keto, paleo, Mediterranean, and you're going to be met with, it's a miserable, miserable failure. As a matter of fact, one of the big stuff, well, let's talk about why calorie counting can't possibly work, okay? The biggest failing of the calories in, calories out formula is it ignores that the body adjusts its control system when calorie intake is reduced. So while calories in, calories out formula can support people achieving weight loss initially, the reduction in energy intake ensures the lost weight will be regained and more. This is the scientific explanation of why calorie counting doesn't work. But you don't have to just believe me. How about Harvard Medical School? Stop counting calories. Listen to what they said. Most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories, specifically 3,500, you lose about a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. They went on to say, this is Harvard Medical School saying this, not me. The idea of a calorie in and a calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. That's what these researchers did. They have nothing to do with Harvard. You understand you're doing something that's making you unhealthy by going on a diet and counting calories. I'm still waiting. No one's been able to give me the definition. Is that why many of friends who moved? Yes, Jennifer. Oh, you get it, Jennifer. Jennifer, have you ever been to Europe? I remember the first time I went, Jennifer, this is kind of funny. And they brought out like the entree, the appetizer, right? It was like this little thing, right? But they brought out the full thing, and I'm going like, what? Did they make a mistake? What did I get it 50% off? But you're right. It wasn't about the quantity of the food I was eating. Because I don't know how much you know. It sounds like you know quite a fair about. But like in Europe, like in Germany or in England, and those, the people go shopping every single day. It's fresh produce all the time. That's why they have little refrigerators. Because I went to, a number of years ago, I went to England 10 days every month for a year and made friends and went to people's houses. And I'd go in and I'd say, where's your refrigerator? Because this little tiny, but they don't need a big refrigerator because they're getting fresh food every single day. But yes, you're right. You could go to Europe and not even do anything. Go to Italy and eat, have pasta and pizza, and you'll probably lose weight. Why? Because the food has so much nutrition in it. Does that make sense, Jennifer? So basically the unhealthy ingredients, but I'm not quite sure what the but is. You still need a deficit. And no, you don't, or a complete wrong. No, 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 no. Has nothing to do with calorie counting. Please, no. Don't go into that because that was my experience in Thailand. Yes, Jennifer. So back to Aura 2 edits. As a matter of fact, let me read to you. Well, I just told you, Harvard Medical School, stop counting calories. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong. Says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's inner food, not how much food we're consuming. Calorie counting, for example, or I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be difficult. Do you know what a calorie is? Do you know the medical definition of a calorie? And then I would ask you, if you don't, then why are you counting calories? The human body has no idea what a calorie is, or has nothing to do with these quantities. It has only to do with the nutritional density of whatever food. So it's not how much food you consume, it's how much nutrition you can get. Does that make sense? Aura. No, that's not true. No, 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 no. You're wrong. No, no, no. Nutrition runs your organs. Nutrition runs your immune system, for example. Okay. I mean, this is no. This doesn't just affect your hormones. I'm sorry. I'm a scientist. I've been doing this 23 years. I wrote 4 best-selling books. Some top medical doctors in the world. Some of my colleagues. One of them is one of the top oncologists in the world who worked with 2 men who won the Nobel Prize in medicine. None of it's my opinion. I don't want you to think I'm giving you an opinion. My opinion shouldn't mean anything to you. So anyway, you still need a deficit to nutritionally affect your. No, I'm sorry. Aurora, you're wrong. Okay, you're just wrong. I mean, it's just every study. Let me give you an example here. Let's see if I can find it for you. Oh boy. See, this is the fight that I have because we've been so misled. Here it is. Let me read this to you here, or this will summarize it for you. Truth is, calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. Counting calories increases chronic psychological stress and cortisol production, 2 factors that are known to cause weight gain. Why? Because when you're concentrating on food that doesn't have enough nutrition, your brain freaks out, goes in starvation mode, you're completely stressed out, it stops you from accessing the fuel in your fat cell and turns to your muscles for fuel. All these studies, 25 to 40% of what you're losing on any of these diets is lean muscle mass. Well, that slows down your metabolism. That's why you yo-yo in these diets. But by losing lean muscle mass, what else are you doing to yourself? You're slowing down your own immune system. Does this make sense? Come on, let's get some more taps now. We're at 729. Let's get to 1,000 at least. Well, I'm not quite sure what you're telling me, Brucey. What are you talking about? How about her? She's standing up straight there, isn't she? How about 60 pounds in 3 months? How's that sound? Pretty? And that's not Photoshop. That's the daughter of a friend of mine. He's a realtor. I'm not going to Photoshop her pictures, right? And I didn't take the pictures of these people. I mean, these are the pictures from the medical studies that they prove that this is like nothing else on the planet. But I'd love anyone to comment. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her stomach. You think that's Photoshop? Maybe you do. It's not Photoshopped. It's absolutely real. So, we're at 819. Come on, let's get some more. Let's get some more likes on there. Yeah, but Jennifer, you're totally correct. I mean, that's why when you went to Thailand, but you know that, I mean, I have to tell you, how much smaller were the serving sizes over there, right? You didn't have, there's no, I don't think there's, maybe there are now big gulps in Thailand, but did we really need a 44-ounce soda? Really? Did we need that? And we wonder why it's now projected that 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese in 4.5 years, everybody. So all these theories that are coming on, you're nice people. I appreciate your comments. But again, if you don't have peer-reviewed human trial medical studies, it means zero in the medical world. I can say that. Look, I'm not telling you to impress you. I've been a nutritional researcher for 23 years. I appeared 20 times on PBS. I wrote 4 best-selling books, some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. I did over 1,500 live lectures at universities and hospitals and towns. They even flew me to China. And I can tell you this, in the medical world for 22 years, everything I was talking about meant zero. Why? No peer-reviewed human trial studies. If any of these people you're following, if what they were doing worked, if what they said was working, how in the world would we have a projected 86% of America overweight, obese, and pre-diabetic within 4.5 years? I mean, maybe you don't like the news. I mean, I can't. We're only sharing with you the truth, the truth, the truth. We're not sharing with you anything that we can't back up medically in these medical studies. We've created a free website for you all to go and see the medical proof, including an interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. He and his team created this. It took him 40 years to figure out what was going on. Because it wasn't just that they were ingesting these foods with huge amounts of quantities of food, of nutrition, but it was how they were doing it, when they were doing it, the timing. I'm going to explain that because I know we have a lot of new people on here already that are probably wondering, how in the heck did she do that? That can't be healthy. It's unsafe. Oh my God. No, it's not. It's totally safe. As a matter of fact, just to let you know, in a month's time, they measured, she lost no water weight. And instead of losing any lean muscle, with no exercise allowed, I want everybody to hear that. None of these people were allowed to exercise because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. Not that the research was against exercise. In a month's time, she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass with no exercise. I mean, how? That's what we're going to tell you right in about 10 seconds. So, no, intermittent. Okay, let me read to you about the studies with intermittent fasting, okay? So this is the first one, Aura. This one is done in the Journal of the American Medical Association, just published, right? Listen to me carefully. This is on, when you're talking intermittent fasting, you're talking about time-restricted eating. Let's be specific. You don't eat for 16 hours, eat for 8. Please give me a yes, just so I make sure I'm not giving you the wrong data, okay? Because I'm a data person. I'm a scientist. I'm a researcher. I only give you research. It's not my research, but it's from these huge medical journals. In this case, the Journal of the American Medical Association. So let me read to you what they said in this study. This was a 3-month study. In our study in the Journal of the American Medical Association, our research found that overweight adults who were routinely fast, were assigned to routinely fast 16 hours a day, time-restricted eating, over the course of 3 months, gained almost no benefit from it. And over the course of the 3 months, they lost an average of 2 to 3.5 pounds. And most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. This is right from the Journal of the American Medical Association. They don't have any axe to grind. They're scientists. They don't give a damn. They're trying to find a solution for obesity. All these researchers, that's what they were doing, right? Now let's one more study on time-restricted eating. This time in the Annals of Internal Medicine. And here's the thing, or you can go look it up. None of it's my opinion. It's in the public domain. Listen to this study. Annals of Internal Medicine. 12-week study. This time they compared this intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating to just people lower in calories. 3 months again. The weight loss after 3 months on time-restricted eating was only 4.6 pounds, and those people that just simply lowered calories was 5.2 pounds. They went on to say, any suggestion that time-restricted eating in any previous study was due to anything other than lowering calories is completely wrong. 4.6 pounds in 3 months. She lost 20. She lost in a week more than they lost on time-restricted eating in 3 months. In 3 months. What do you think, or which one would you do? Which one would you follow? You want to do intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating, where up to most of what you're losing is lean muscle mass, making you unhealthy. See, this is the thing about these diets you're going on. You're making yourselves unhealthy. You're losing lean muscle mass, and you don't go like back to normal eating, get your metabolism back, your muscle back. No, it doesn't happen. This is the misinformation that's out there. And calorie counting, again, for all of you, this is medical proof. The biggest failing of the calories in, calories out formula is it ignores that the body adjusts the control system when calorie intake is reduced. Researchers found that while the calories in, calories out formula can support people achieving weight loss initially, the reduction in energy intake ensures the lost weight will be regained. What are you all doing? You're going on diets to gain weight? Is that what your goal was? Yeah, I get really animated. I'm sorry. People get, I'm not shouting. I'm excited. I'm excited for all of you. You realize we gave you a free website. You can go see the medical proof, and we're not going to call you. We're not going to text you. We're not going to email you. And then if you like what you see, you can get it right above. It says free coaching. The coaching's free the whole time. Because what you don't understand about this, because it's my fault, I'll tell you. The main reason to do this is to keep the weight off for the rest of your life. That's why it's called R2M, race to maintenance. Race to maintenance. That's what this is. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. Does that sound exciting to all of you? You see what I'm saying? I mean, how amazing this is. But you have to understand, it's not my opinion. There's 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. Can anybody name another influencer you're following, well, I don't care who it is, that have peer-reviewed human trial medical studies? Who would it be? Who would it be? How do you do it? Okay, Peggy, I'm going to explain it to you in just a second. So Peggy, first, just comment. What do you think about that? Would you be pretty excited if you could lose 5 pounds a week? I'm not sure. Maybe you want to gain weight. And Peggy, let me explain to you. We have kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady 91 years old. We have people with no thyroids. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with no gallbladders. We have people with kidney transplants, and we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or making medical proclamations. All we're doing, Peggy, is sharing to you what these researchers in these 10 published, peer-reviewed human trial studies proved. They've cracked the code for obesity and weight loss and health, not because I say so, and now they're backed up. They were validated by these huge medical journals. 10 of them. It'd be one thing if you were publishing one of them, but to get 10 of them to publish your work, it's never seen before. It's never been seen. So let's talk about how did they do it. Okay, so first of all, Peggy, for you, but for everybody, I still am waiting for anybody to give me the definition of a calorie, okay? But wait a minute, Jennifer, but what about the research that proves fasting heals our bodies? There's no peer-reviewed human trial studies that I've ever seen that I'm aware of that backs that up, to give you an idea. I will tell you this, that all the studies say if you fast for more than 24 hours, what you're going to burn is your lean muscle mass. It's proven. It's not up for debate, okay? And you got to understand, we have the medical proof that no fasting, including lowering inflammation by 25% in 30 days, no fast, no diet, no anything. The other thing no fast has ever proven is counteracting this medical syndrome that you have and I have and everybody has. It's called TDOS. T for toxicity, D for deficiency, O for being overweight, S is for stress. You're storing chemicals inside your body. No fast has removed a gram of toxins from the body. This protocol, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving that this was helping the body remove herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard and Teflon. That's all I can tell you. I mean, it's nice, and people do fast for religious reasons. Obviously, I'm not against that. But the majority of what they're losing on that is lean muscle mass. Sorry. When you don't have enough nutrition in your body, which is what happens when you're on a fast, your brain is going to turn your muscles into fuel. It's not up for debate. It's not like, whoa, let's have a debate about this. No, that's what happens. Just to let you know, okay? Okay, how did she do it? So this goes to the whole point about why fasting if you go more than 24 hours, it's going to make you unhealthy. I mean, that's all I can tell you, you know. So what they did, the researchers, after 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people, every diet out there, including fasting, including water fasting, including time-restricted eating, including paleo, keto, Mediterranean, the zone diet, they lose weight for your blood type, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers. They looked at them all. And 2/3 of people in the long run regained more weight than they lost. So What was the problem? The problem was that people were relying on counting calories. And the biggest fallacy in that, your body has no idea what a calorie is. Do any of you know? I'd love for you to put it in the chat. In a year's time doing these 2 and 3 podcasts a day, I've had 4 people ever get the actual technical definition. I didn't know what it was 23 years ago, so don't feel bad. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. But a calorie is not a real thing. All it is, I'm not going to tell you because I want someone to, if someone knows, I want you to put it in there. So the research said the problem was that when you go on a diet, well, first of all, back up. Your body doesn't know what a calorie is. It doesn't count calories. Your organs, your brain, kidney, liver, heart, etc., they don't run on calories. You know what they run on? Nutrition. And we all have a minimum. So Peggy, or any of you, or Aura, we have a basic, a minimum amount of nutrition that we need in order for the brain to feel there's enough fuel to run all the organs. When you go on a diet, what are you doing, Peggy? You're lowering the amount of food you're consuming. What else you're lowering? Nutrition. Forget calories. That doesn't have anything to do with it. When your brain senses there's not enough fuel, nutrition, it'll stop you from accessing the fuel inside your fat cells, where we should get our energy. But the brain goes in total shutdown. It's freaking out thinking you're starving to death, which you are nutritionally. So what does it have to do? Because you need fuel to run your organs. So what does it do? It turns to your muscles for fuel. It's not up for debate. We have every diet out there, 25 to 40% of what people are losing is lean muscle mass. It's not up for debate. So imagine on a fast how much muscle mass you're going to lose. But that's another story. So then what happens is the researchers said, wait a minute, we're going to do something unique. We want to find, we still want to give you less amount of food, the quantity of the food, but we want to increase nutrition. We're going to find foods that have higher levels of nutrition despite lower quantities. Got it? So they put together a food list. Only 30% of what she consumed came from the grocery store. 30%. Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. Instead of giving her calorie counts, they give her serving sizes. Very important. But only 30% of what she would spend at the grocery store, she spent last month, she spent 100%. This month, she's only spending 30%. The other 70%, here's what makes it so unique. And you can't go to your local grocery store, farmer's market, and get what I'm going to share with you next. These other researchers, because we don't sell you anything, the researchers don't sell you anything, but these other researchers have spent 20 years going around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find these foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So now the researchers, they had their, we'll see if this works. We're going to give people less food, but we're going to give them more nutrition. So 5 days a week, she and everybody else had 4 meals a day. Well, unheard of on diets, right? She started with these exotic foods from around the world. That was breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal from these exotic foods around the world that you can't buy at your local grocery store. So 5 days a week, she was eating 4 times a day. That's called protein pacing. Now, listen to me carefully. It wasn't just what she was consuming. It was when she was consuming, what were the time intervals? Because the researchers proved that by spreading out the nutrition, that's what protein pacing means, it was way more effective because the body basically could use every ounce of the nutrition. But before the body ran out of that nutrition, it then had another meal because 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. But listen to this, 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted. Those days, they had her eating 8 times a day. This was critical because, again, they never wanted her to run out of nutrition because then that would trigger starvation mode and she'd lose lean muscle mass. So they gave her 8 meals over the course of about 12 hours over the course of a day. Well, not only didn't people lose lean muscle, nobody was hungry, for example. Nobody reported, we had people who weigh 500 pounds, don't get hungry, because they were never hungry for calories. They were hungry for nutrition. Now, the key to this is not, can you lose the weight? The key to this is, can you maintain it? That's why the researchers call this R2M, race to maintenance. So unlike every diet they'd ever seen before where 2/3 of people gain all their weight back, these studies, some of them were started 13 years ago, and they've tracked the people. They've kept the weight off for 13 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. So it's totally sustainable. Now, 2 more questions. Where can I find out more? You see right above my head there in blue, the new health conversation. It's a movement, but most importantly, that's our website. That website has nothing to buy. If you go to that website, we won't contact you. Why would you want to go to the website? Because it has the medical proof, including the medical studies, but more importantly, an interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world, explaining to you why they, as the top weight loss people in the world, will never recommend to any of their patients ever again any form of traditional diet. Paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time restricted eating, fasting, carb recycling, macros, any of that. No, they did all that. None of them ever worked long term. Does that make sense to everybody? It's an energy measurement. No. A little bit more, Elise Barr. Give me a better definition. A unit of energy. No. So bottom line, just no. There's no, Peggy. It's not just eating healthy. Peggy, you don't understand. You can't buy these nutrients from these food groups around the world, and it's when you get taught all that. This is not a diet. I mean, Peggy, you can do whatever you want to do. No, it's not about eating healthy. You didn't listen to me. Our food in North America that you're doing, even the best organic, is all but nutritionally bankrupt. You have to understand they could have never done this if they would have had these people just eat it. They did that for 40 years. They had people eat organic. Trust me. And 2/3 of the people gained more weight than they lost because they ended up losing lean muscle mass because they didn't have enough nutrition. See, that's the thing. Don't try to outthink this. Peggy, at a minimum, you can go and see the medical proof before you make a decision about, oh, I'm just going to eat healthy. No, you're not. There's no such thing. Do you know that a bowl of spinach, Peggy, listen to this. Cornell University did a study on the iron levels in spinach from 1953 to the year 2000. Peggy, the iron levels in spinach in this country have decreased, you ready for this, by 4,300%. Ooh, how's that eating healthy going to turn out? That's spinach, for crying out loud. But it's broccoli, it's Brussels. Every food, the nutritional values are crashing because we so overfarmed the fields, the dirt. That's why these researchers finally figured out we were never going to make it happen, even with the best organic food in this country. That's why they went to these other researchers that went to these regions of the world. Well, in some places, people living to be 100 years old and they didn't get sick. Why? Because of the nutrients in the food, not how much food they were eating. Does that make sense, Peggy? No, so it's not about eating healthy. You're not understanding it. But that's why you have the opportunity to go to the website. I don't want to convince you. I don't have time to do that. You can go and see the medical proof or not, or you can go on a diet and think you're going to eat healthy and you're going to, well, we know. I mean, 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese in 4.5 years. Does that sound like there's a solution out there? I don't know what it would be. I mean, you think, Peggy, that she did that by eating healthy? 60 pounds in 3 months. Peggy, have you ever seen anything like that? Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her stomach area. No loose skin. All of you look at that. Eating several times a day is nothing new. Well, then at least go do, if you have the answers, if you're smarter than the top weight loss nutrition researchers in the world, then God love you. Go do whatever you want to do if you think you can figure this out. But let me ask you something. If what you're talking about was real, why are we going to be at 86% overweight and 50% obese? So don't tell me that it's several meals a day. It's not the same thing. Because again, do you have the quantities that you're eating at those times? Do you have these massive amounts of nutrition? No. Again, they tried what you're suggesting with regular food. It never worked. I know people want to get mad at me. I'm just telling you the medical science. My God, look, this is the cover of Women's World magazine. It just came out June 9th, the #1 women's magazine in the world. Look at this, over 50 protein miracle. They're endorsing this, saying this is it. Diets are obsolete, because they are. I mean, it's a free country. Go do whatever you want to do. I'm just giving you scientific proof. That's all. I mean, that's all I can do. And we're giving you a free website and you get free coaching. Oh, the other thing I didn't even tell you, Liz, sorry. The 70% of the food you would buy, they give you 100% money back guarantee in the first 30 days. Try and do that on any of your eating plans that are going to go out there, right? No gimmicks. No, nothing's 100%. You think I wouldn't be that dumb to say that. Maybe I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. There's no risk. Your risk is you think you're going to solve it. If anybody had the answer, how could we be blowing up as a society? We got 1 billion people worldwide clinically obese. 1 billion. Does that sound to you like things are working? I mean, this is like, really? Let's see. How do I get the protocol? Okay. How I can lose? Okay. So hold on. Everybody, there's where you go, Liz. If you want to go there, you said eating several meals a day is unheard of in diets. Okay, well, maybe I misspoke. Okay, I'm not perfect. I'm close. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. What I meant to say is that there's no way that you had eating these several meals a day with these massive amounts of nutrition with so little quantity of food. That's what I should have said, I guess, to be clear. Of course, there have been other eating schemes where they had you eat, several times a day, et cetera. But you were eating food that's nutritionally bankrupt. That's why it didn't work. That's why it's never worked. And look, Liz, at least grant me this. If any of these diets worked, if any of these eating programs worked, how could we be in 4.5 years projected to be at 86% overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic? We have more diets than ever before. We have all kinds of eating plans. We have fasting and carb recycling, and we got macros, and we got exercise and 10,000 steps, and we're getting worse and worse and worse, and yet we keep doing basically the same thing. At the end of the day, any of these schemes are still based on they're counting calories, and the body's not counting calories. The body doesn't even know what a calorie is, right? So CHAPA 0700. So you see right above my head there in blue, the new health conversation. If you go there, it's all the medical proof, including an interview, a podcast with the #1 nutritional weight loss. And they don't sell anything. They don't have any products. There is no product here. We don't sell anything. And you get 100% money back guarantee on 70% of what you're going to spend. Which program out there does that for you? I don't know. Maybe it exists. So, and anyway, Liz, the main thing is you have the opportunity to go and see the medical. I don't want you to believe me. Why would you believe me? It's not my research. But they're rated the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world for 40 years. It took them 40 years to figure this out. Well, I did. Liz, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. I mean, look at this older guy. All of you, 40 pounds and 52 inches in 30 days with no exercise. And that's the least important part of look at his lab work. His A1C from 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124. That's in 30 days, everybody. 30 days with no exercise. Not that the research is against exercise. Look, I'd rather us join together. We can disagree, that's fine. But all I'm saying to you is that for the first time in history, we have the proof they've solved weight loss, obesity, and health. Well, not health totally, but making you healthier. To be more correct in my speech. I'm sorry. Sometimes I just get so excited that I even trip over my own words, and that's just part of it. I'm doing 3 or 4 of these a day. Nobody else on social media is doing what we're doing. It's not about me. It's about giving you the knowledge and giving you the information so you can do something or not. Now, I'm going to show you another one. Now, this lady here, this is what makes this worth it. Wait till you see this, everybody. 200 pounds in less than a year and kept it off. Where's the loose skin, everybody? Where's her loose skin? This is changing people's lives. You think you're going to do that on a diet? And if she did that on a diet, we all know her stomach could be down at her knees. You've seen the before and afters of people doing gastric bypass, etc. I'm not against anything. You do whatever you want to do. But as a scientist, I just look at the data. In 1964, 15% of America was overweight or obese. In 2030, in 4.5 years, they're projecting we're going to be at 86% overweight or obese. So from 15, that's about a 550% increase in that time frame. Would you all agree if you go to Barnes & Noble today, there's more diets than ever before? And yet we're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Does anybody question it and think, wow, I wonder if what we're doing is working? Because don't you think, any of you, that if any of these diets actually worked, they'd have $1 trillion company? Because the problem keeps getting bigger and bigger. My God, when you got people like Medicare, I have it right here. New study from Medicare. Listen to this, everyone. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. The researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether any diet is an effective treatment for obesity. The study showed that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. What are you all doing? This is Medicare telling you that conventional diets are not the answer. And yet you're going to do them anyway. I know most of you are going to jump off here and go and do whatever you're going to do. I just think that, look at Julie, for example, 35 pounds in 37 days. Look at the change in her body. Now, you can think it's photoshopped. You trying to tell me any diet interview you've ever been on? Let's see. I know that if I eat the as diet foods of the 70s, nothing happens. Yeah, okay. Well, so I'm not sure if you're agreeing with me or disagreeing. So what I have to do, the calories we eat from food is different from our body's calories we burn. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're 1,000,000% wrong. First of all, you do not burn calories. That is the biggest lie on the planet. You have a certain number of calories, fat you're born with, and you die with the same number of fat cells. You turn over about 10% of your fat cells in a year, but they're immediately replaced by the body. So the net number of fat cells never changes. So again, no, that's totally, sorry, Aura, that's just not supported medically, okay? No, no, no. Oh my God. No, oh God. So we're going to try all new cheese diet. I'll let you know how, yeah, good. Well, I'll guarantee you what'll happen. You'll lose weight initially, and 2/3 you're going to weigh more than what you did. So, Nini, do you have to buy books? No. Here, Nini, here's what you do. You see that website in blue right above my head, the new health conversation? It's 100% free to go there. That's all the medical proof. There's no books to buy. I'm going to show everybody the website just because this makes me nervous when people think that somehow we're trying to sell books. Here's the website, everybody. That's all that's on there. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are video interviews with these top researchers. Number 3, the actual medical studies. Do you see any books to buy on there? Does anybody see any books? And if you go there, we won't even contact you. This is for you to see the medical proof. I don't know what more can we do than that? I mean, module number 1 is the interview with the podcast with the number 1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. Don't you want to know what he has to say about why they've abandoned traditional diets now? He said in the interview, they'll never recommend to their patients traditional diets ever again. He said because they're miserable failures and they make people unhealthy in the long run. That's good enough for me. So again, for all of you, you can go to the website for free. The New Health, it's right there. Do you think it's a trick? Do you think I'm lying to you? Do you really think that I'm lying to you and you're going to go there and we're going to call you? We don't have time to do that. We don't have time to do that. So, God bless you. I don't deserve that. How much does broken breast? Okay, Jennifer. Take whatever you spent total last month on food. Only 30% of what you spent, you'll spend at the grocery store. You're going to get a list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. And instead of giving you calorie counts, they're going to give you very specific serving sizes. Very important. Because what the researchers were going for was not the amount of food you were consuming, was the amount of nutrition they could give you in the least amount of food, okay? The other 70% of what you spent last month on food, you're going to go towards these exotic foods that come from around the world. Most people feel they're probably spending about the same, maybe $100 more in a month than what, so it's not like it's $500 more. It's not like you're buying all the food you have now and then you're buying this on top of it. No, this is going to replace about 70 meals in a month, 70. And the other thing, those foods that you're buying from the researchers, not from us, they give you 100% money back guarantee in the first 30 days. So Jennifer, what do you think about that? How cool is it? It's not up for debate. You don't have to have a reason. They'll give you all your money back if it doesn't work. Because nothing's 100%, of course. But they're so confident because that's what they use in these medical studies to produce this kind of a result where she lost, 21 pounds in 30 days with no exercise. Really? So let's see. You actually come off defensive if I'm honest. Well, it's because I'm so passionate about this and because the fact I've had to defend myself against the world because what's everybody out there actually saying. But here's the point. I'll challenge any of them. Show me a peer-reviewed human trial study to counteract what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'd say I'm on defense because what is everybody else telling you to do? Calories in, calories out. They're ignoring the reality that we're going to be at 80, we're at Armageddon. In 4.5 years, honest to God, Leeds, if we're going to be at 86% overweight and 86% overweight, obese, and 50% pre-diabetic, shouldn't somebody defend us? Who's defending you now? Who's showing you medical proof? Who's giving you anything other than opinions? Yeah, I'm proud to be the defensive foil. But it's not, but I don't have to defend. It's not my research. So if people are angry with me or challenging me, they're challenging the medical science. But when you have peer-reviewed human trial studies, it's called irrefutable medical proof. It's as high as we can go in medical investigation. No drug ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed human trial study. Look it up. Not a clinical study, not a scientific paper, not on monkeys, rats, chimpanzees. No. That's why this is so powerful. I get challenged all the time because I'm shaking the hell out of the tree because people want to defend the indefensible. Like people coming on here and telling me, well, it's just about eating healthy. Well, if that worked, why do we have 86% of America in 4.5 years are going to be overweight? So I appreciate the comment. Doesn't make me mad. I'm proud to say, yeah, I'm defending you. But something you don't know about me, maybe why I'm so defensive, okay? My own mother, Liz, was morbidly obese. I never knew her thin. I never knew her healthy. And 24 years ago, she called me up. I hope you never have to have a phone call like this. And she said, you know, Peter, I have one really big wish in my life. I said, Mom, what's that? She said, I would give anything to spend 24 hours thin. I said, wow, Mom, that's cool. Well, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. I loved my mom. It didn't matter how big she was. I lived through fat shaming. And the reason I hate diets so much and why I'm such a defender of the truth now, my mom did about every diet there was. I swear to you, she would cut diets out of the National Enquirer. She did the grapefruit diet. She did the cabbage soup diet. She went to Weight Watchers for years, and she'd go a whole week and lose 4 ounces and come home with a blue star and be all excited. 4 ounces in a week. So yeah, I guess I'm a little bit testy. My mom was like 62 years old when she died. She dieted herself to death. I'm sorry. I hate diets. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them because now we have the medical proof they don't work. Now let's talk about the shots. As long as we're on a roll here, this is all you can look this up. It's in the New England Journal of Medicine, a big study on semaglutide, one of the GLP-1s. I'm not against the shots. They're helping diabetics and they're helping people morbidly obese. Maybe my mom would have even done it. But let's look at how effective are they really? Okay. This is a 68-week study. Keep in mind, I can't make this up. You can all go look it up. After 68 weeks, the weight loss was 32 pounds. And of the 32 pounds people lost on the shot, 40% was lean muscle mass. Those are the facts. Now, you can accuse me of being defensive if I'm reading this, but this is in the public domain. You can all go look it up. Another huge study that also is defending my defense is the Journal of the American Medical Association. This is a study called Comparison of Weight Loss Among Named Diet Programs in Overweight and Obese Adults. They looked at 48 different studies, 7,286 people, and named all the major diets. In the study, paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, the Cornish, the zone diet, the lose weight for your blood type, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, on and on and on. This is a 12-month study, 12 months. And when they looked at across all the diets, the most amount of weight loss on any diet to the least amount of weight loss on any diet in 12 months, the only difference in the weight loss was 10 ounces in a year. Now, you can think I'm making this up, but you can go read the study yourself. But the sad part was they lost about 16 pounds in a year, and up to 40% of what they lost was lean muscle mass. She lost 21 pounds in a month and lost no water and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. So given the choice, if you knew about this, aren't you curious enough to investigate it and hear from the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world who analyzed all these? It's not his study, that study's not theirs, but they did 100 studies, thousands of people over 40 years with the same kind of results. People lost weight, it didn't matter what the diet was every time, but 2/3 of them ended up weighing more than when they started. So I'm arguing for all of you. I'm defending all of you to say, stop this madness of counting calories, of paleo, keto, Mediterranean, the Cornish, the macros. None of them work long term. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So again, I'm not going to apologize for defending your right to know. That's all I'm doing. I'm making the knowledge available to all of you. I mean, I welcome you if you want to spend the next 23 years of your life as a nutritional researcher and write 4 best-selling books and 20 shows on PBS and 1,500 live lectures around the world at hospitals and universities. Heck, they flew me to China for 16 days. I did 10 lectures in China. I'm not telling you to impress you, but you know what? For 22 of my 23 years, despite all that academia, you know what it meant in the medical world to the medical doctors? Zero. Why? Because there are no peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. Does that make sense? No, that's not true. I'm sorry, Dob. Will it work? Absolutely will work with PCOS. I do intermittent fasting, calorie deficit, not losing weight. See, there again, you're proving my point. Would you be excited with that result, 21 pounds in a month? Well, Liz, hopefully you have a whole different impressions of me now, but I'm telling you that's my motivation. Huh, okay. Look, I'll share one other story with all of you, okay? Just so you know the human side of me. I'm not just some scientist that's this, mad, passionate person, right? My younger brother was a very famous news anchor. I'm not going to get into all that right now, but in 2011 he was diagnosed with kidney cancer. My brother was 6'4", and over the course of, he had an 8-hour operation to remove a tumor the size of a baseball wrapped around his spine. He did chemo, he did radiation, and 8 months later, he's in the hospital, he's going to go into hospice, and Saturday night we're there. And at that time, before COVID, I was lecturing about 4 or 5 nights a week all over the world. And we were just I was in his his hospital room, and he was going to go into hospice on Monday. So we were reminiscing, we were crying and hugging, and I loved my brother. And I said to him, I was scheduled the next week to leave Monday. This was Saturday night. I said, Patrick, I'm going to cancel my schedule next week, and I was scheduled Friday night to speak in Washington, D.C., actually in Bethesda, right outside the Capitol, a big event. And I told him, I said, Patrick, I'm going to cancel my speaking engagement for next week. He sat up in that bed with passion and pointed his finger at me, and he said, Peter, you don't sit here and watch me. He said, you go out into that world, and if you can make a difference in one person's life, you do it in memory of me. Now, we didn't know it was going to happen. He was going into hospice on Monday. He was on a morphine pump. I mean, it had spread to his bones. He was in terrible. So I was really reluctant. I got on that plane on Monday and flew out, and I'll never forget, it was a Friday afternoon about 6:30 on the East Coast. I go in at 7 o'clock, and his wife called me, and he was really, really bad. And she put me on the phone with him. I don't even know if he even heard me. But I said, look, Patrick, don't worry about your wife or your daughter. I'll take care of them. So I went on at 7 o'clock speaking, and he died at 7:15 while I was on stage. Maybe you get me now. Maybe you understand my passion. I couldn't save my brother, but damn it, in his memory and in the memory of my mom, I'm going to do this despite all the slings and arrows and the pushback and the people that don't like me. It doesn't matter. Those words, go out there and do it in memory of me. Well, I didn't finish it. He also said, if you can make a difference in one person's life because of me, do it in my memory. He knew that he wasn't going to make it. I mean, he did. Obviously, it was really, really bad. I'm telling you, I was so reluctant to get on that plane on a Monday morning. And when I got the phone call on Friday afternoon, I still didn't know that he was going to pass away. So this is what drives me. This is my passion. This isn't some little game for me. This isn't some, celebrity trip. Yeah, I've been on TV a lot. I wrote 4 best-selling books. That doesn't mean a darn thing. What matters is, can I make a difference in one of your lives that you will do this and have a life-changing experience? I couldn't help my mom. I couldn't help my brother. But I'd like to think that maybe I can help any of you. And I'm not gonna not try, despite whatever your opinions are of me, whether you think I'm too loud or boisterous or yakking or whatever it is. I'm going to keep going. Why wouldn't I? So sorry about that. Let's see, who else? All right, so I want to explain to everybody how in the world did they do this. I know, I'm sorry I got off track with those personal stories, but I'd like you to all understand I'm not just some researcher, I'm not some cold-hearted, I'm certainly not a fat shamer. I'm here to support all of you with the knowledge that I've acquired that we're sharing with you. To do what? To give you the opportunity, your opportunity, not mine, to change the rest of your life. So how did she lose 21 pounds and 38 inches in a month? Not by counting calories, not by exercising, because no one was allowed to exercise. They wore Fitbits to prove they didn't exercise. So the researchers that invented this, basically what they figured out was this. The reason diets don't work is we're basing everything on counting calories, and the human body has no idea what a calorie is. So that's kind of foolhardy, isn't it? Your body runs on one principle, a minimum amount of nutrition, period. When you go on a diet, think about it. What are you doing? You're reducing the quantity of your food you're consuming. Why do we eat food? I know you think it tastes good. That's okay. The only reason you eat food is for the nutrition inside, because that's what runs all your organs. Your body doesn't run on calories. It runs on nutrition, your brain, your kidneys, heart, etc. When you go on a diet, you lower the amount of food. Well, by definition, what else you're lowering? Nutrition. When that happens, the brain figures out there's not enough fuel. It stops you from accessing the fuel in your fat cells, shuts that down, and now turns to your muscles for fuel, making you unhealthy for two reasons. One, it has to slow down your metabolism. There's not enough fuel to run all the organs at full speed, so it slows down your metabolism. But you know what else it does to you by losing lean muscle? It slows down your own immune system. Now, the part of my brother's story I didn't tell you, he was 6'4". And when he died, he weighed 115 pounds. I saw him waste away. I saw him lose all the lean muscle in his body. Now, obviously, a diet is not that extreme, but you do create on diets what's called catabolic metabolism. That's a fancy word for the body eating the organs for fuel, starting with your muscles. That's what late-stage anorexia. I don't know if you all remember Karen Carpenter. She had late-stage anorexia. She lost all of her muscle. She lost all her fat. And at the end, her body was basically eating her organs, her heart. She died of a heart attack. That's what happens in late-stage anorexia. So my brother was, in essence, in anorexia. He didn't die of a heart attack. He died from the cancer. So the researchers figured there was only one solution if they could do it. Could we give you less food, but find foods with more nutrition? That's really what they did. So they put together a food list. The researchers did, not us. We had nothing to do with that. They gave her a list, but only 30% of what she bought in a month. So if you took her food budget last month, take 30% of that, she spent at the grocery store for proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving her calorie amounts, they gave her serving sizes that you would get. You'd get an absolute schedule of exactly what they did. And you get a free coach. We'll come back to that in a moment, okay? Free coach, I'm not kidding you. Free coach the whole time, all right? Now, what also happened was the fact that, what about the other 70% of the food she needed? Well, the other 70% of the food she needed actually came from other researchers who'd gone around the world. They'd gone to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet in the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So now they had the ingredients, got it? But that wasn't good enough. They then invented two new ways of taking advantage of these dense nutrition foods in the lowest amount possible. So what they were able to do was figure out two new ways of eating. So 5 days a week, she literally had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods around the world. That was breakfast, lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a fourth meal after dinner from these exotic foods around the world. Got it? So 5 days a week, she was having 4 meals a day. But here was the other thing that was so unique. She did something called protein pacing, where they give her the timing in between the meals. That was really important, because what they wanted to make sure was she didn't run out of nutrition. Because if she ran out of nutrition, then her body would turn to her muscles for fuel. We know that's, so they figured that out. You get a schedule. 2 days a week, this was even more critical. Listen to me, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. What the heck is that? On those days, no food from the grocery store. She wasn't fasting. She wasn't doing water fasting. She wasn't doing time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store. Only these exotic foods around the world. But this time, she ate them 8 times a day. She was literally eating about every hour and a half. Again, the critical part was the timing, the spacing between what she was eating. Do you know no one was hungry? We had people weighing 500 pounds that weren't hungry. They couldn't believe it because they never were hungry for calories. But that's what we're all focused on. No, it has nothing to do with calories. It has to do with nutritional density, if that makes sense to everybody. And then look at the results. But the other part of this that's so significant that I want you all to understand is that it's all about maintenance. The protocol is called R2M, race to maintenance. That picture's 8 or 9 years old. She's kept the weight up for 8 or 9 years. There's all the other people I'm going to show you as well. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. Now let's take a look at Julie, for example. 35 pounds in 37 days. A lot of you think it's a different woman, or we lied about the timing. No, it was October 3rd to November 9th. I think we calculated it right. I think that was 37 days. Look at her body change. Look at the body change with no exercise. No one was allowed to exercise. You trying to tell me any diet, eating healthy, paleo, keto, Mediterranean fasting, has ever produced anything like this? The researchers after 40 years never found anything that ever did anything like this. Well, of course, this was new. They invented it, and they don't have any products. There is no product. It's food and a new way of eating the food. Now, this is the daughter of a friend of mine. Look at that, everybody. 60 pounds in 3 months. 60. Look at her face. Look at her arms. Look at her stomach area. Where's the loose skin? I know you don't think this is real. It's real. It's not Photoshop. It's not AI. It's absolutely real. Now, you can think we're lying to you, but we can't lie because, again, we have 10 peer-reviewed human medical studies that back all this stuff up, and you can see the medical proof on the website for free. But I can relate, seeing more success eating maintenance, doing cardio than restricting calories. Yes, exactly, or you're exactly right. If you do your part of what God, time and knowledge gives you. If you do your part of what God. I'm confused by that. And that keep going, Everhart. Is that what you keep going? You mean out the door? You want to get rid of me? I know that I make people mad, but it's only because I'm so passionate about it. And I appreciate someone was saying, yeah, I found defensive. But on your behalf, somebody has to stand up for you. Otherwise, why don't you just jump in with all the other sheep and do calorie counting? It doesn't work. Today, go to the beach. I think it's pretty nice around the country, around the world even. Look at the people on the beach. Go to the mall. Go anywhere you want to go. Is it not just crazy what's going on? Or is it just me? I mean, the point is that the amount of people that are overweight in the world now, well, not just overweight, listen to this. 1 billion, with a B, billion people worldwide are now considered clinically obese. That's not just overweight. Now listen to what they said. This was done by the Lancet, by the way. You can look it up. The #1 medical journal in the world out of England. And they said 80 now 1 billion out of 8 billion people now are clinically obese, making obesity, listen to what they said, making obesity the leading form of malnutrition in the world. So this whole concept, I'm just going to eat healthy. No, you're not. Because even with your best intentions, I'll give you an example. If you took an orange from 30 years ago, they estimate today to equal the same nutrition of one orange from 30 years ago. You got to eat about 6. Why do you think you're going to eat healthy? That's why these researchers had to go find these other, they didn't find them, but other researchers they saw this coming. They saw our food in North America was crashing. Now these nutrients and foods they found, they're not available in your grocery store, but you can buy them directly from them. Not from us. We're not selling it. We don't have any products to sell. But imagine, they came from the far reaches of the world, from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. And these nutrients, food, whatever you want to call them, consumed contained huge amounts of nutrition, but not huge amounts of food by quantity. Does that make, see, that's the concept I want you all to get. It's not about the quantity anymore. We're not talking about quantity. We're talking about nutritional density. We're talking about what's in the food, not how much food you're consuming. I read to you from Harvard Medical School. I know I've got it here somewhere. Oh, here it is. This is Harvard Medical School. Stop counting calories. Most people have been taught, this is Harvard Medical School speaking, not me. Most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories specifically 3,500 and you lose about a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. That's what these researchers did for all of us. They don't have anything to do with Harvard. But all these major studies, study after study. Now, one thing I didn't tell you, if you did decide to do it, the coaches you get, it's called the blueprints of success. This is what the researchers use in the medical studies. And these yellows are actually daily videos from the researchers explaining to you, this is why it's safe, this is why you're doing this. And these they don't sell anything. They don't have any products. They're scientists. Now, why would they do that? They do it because of the fact that they spent 40 years, and now they're credited with cracking the code on obesity and weight loss, and they just want to ensure that everybody gets to do it exactly the way they did in the studies, and you don't have to go and get medical supervision to do it. Number one, it's totally safe, and number two, it's published in 10 of the biggest peer-reviewed medical journals in the world. So everybody is looking at this like it's, something. But here's another explanation. Let me find it. I know I've got it here somewhere. Let's see. Is this it? Yeah. Listen to this. Calorie counting is a relic, a simplistic dogma that ignores the body's sophisticated survival mechanism. Why? Because it battles our biology, hormonal signals that prioritize nutrient quality, metabolic adaptation, conserve energy, and psychological needs for intuitive eating. Every diet noted in a calorie deficit is doomed to collide with the realities. The science is undeniable. To reclaim health, we must work our bodies, not against them. It's time to bury calorie counting where food is medicine and not math. See, this is none of it's my opinion. This is the reason they're admitting that they were completely wrong. Because for over 100 years, they've been telling us calories in, calories out is the way to lose weight. Can anybody think of a diet that's not calories in, calories out? Hi, I'm on my new eating cleaner journey, doing well till I eat my big meal, and then I crash. Of course. I'm encouraging you to keep sharing your knowledge. I will. Hiya, what do you eat? Maintenance during cardio. Okay, so I'm going to answer all those questions for you right now. So Lisa, thank you very, very much. But you're proving my point. It doesn't count or know what calories even are. Whoa, there it's jumping again. Wow. Holy tamale. Unable internet connection. What is going on here, folks, again? Can all of you hear me? Am I still here? I can't hear you. I can't hear anything. Oh my gosh, it's doing that again. Huh. So, 9, if you're still around, we're having trouble with the sound. Am I back? All good now. Okay. All right. So, Lisa, I was addressing you and everybody else. Now, what I want to share with all of you is, what did they do that was so different? Because they'd done 40 years of research, over 100 studies, thousands of people on pretty much every kind of diet out there. And they concluded that the fallacy of dieting was that people were focused on counting calories. The problem with that, the body doesn't know what a calorie is. What happens to all of us is the body has a minimum amount, let's call it the floor of nutrition that we need in order to run all the organs, starting with the brain, the heart, the kidney, the liver, etc. When you go on a diet, here's why they don't work. When you lower the amount of food, what else? You're lowering nutrition. When you lower the amount of nutrition, the brain thinks you're starving to death, because you are from a nutritional standpoint, so it goes into survival mode and prevents you from accessing the fuel inside your fat cell and turns to your muscles for fuel. You got that? Well, and so doing that, then the brain doesn't have a choice. It begins to slow down your metabolism. That's why I know I'm speaking to the choir. You know that you lose weight initially, and then it slows down to a trickle, and then you're plateaued. No matter what you do, you can't lose any more weight. You come off the diet, you get everything back, and then you look for a new diet. Why? Because when you lose lean muscle mass, which is what's happening on every diet, 25 to 40% of what you lose on any typical diet, not this one, because this isn't a diet, number one, is lean muscle mass. But when you lose lean muscle in your body, you also slow down your own metabolism. Did you get that? So what the researchers said was this: we want a new approach. We're going to only concentrate on, can we find foods with large amounts of nutrition and smaller quantities of food? So they put together a food list. Only 30% of what you consume would come from your grocery store. Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving her calorie amounts, they gave serving sizes. Very important. And you would get that, all right? Because you're going to get from our coaches who coach you for free. This is it's called Blueprint Success, which is really sort of like the prescription of exactly what the people did as they went through. And the yellows are all daily tutorials with the researchers who created this. And they don't have any props to sell, okay? So they put together that food list. Only 30%. 3 days a week, she was having 4 meals a day. Okay, so she started. Wow, my sound keeps cutting out. Did it cut out again? Can you hear me now? Liz, can you hear me now? Yeah, I know. For some reason, we're having internet. We're having internet issues. You're back. Okay, all right, I'm back. I don't know why it's doing that again. I got to get my web people on this, I guess, to try and see if we can fix this. This is crazy why it's doing that. Let me finish the scenario here, and then I'm gonna have to get with my web guys and see if we can fix this. But anyway, so she 5 days a week had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods around the world. That was breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a fourth meal after dinner from these exotic foods around the world. Now, what was critical was not just that she was eating these foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but it was the timing, like how long between breakfast and say a snack and then like lunch. That's all laid out. They figured this out because what they found was they wanted to be at a point where you never ran out of nutrition. So the spacing, the timing was, see, that's why, for example, something like intermittent fasting, where you stop eating at 8 o'clock at night, you don't eat till noon the next day, is one of the most harmful things you could do. And all the medical evidence proves that everything you're losing on those diets, almost everything, is not fat, it's lean muscle mass. Just telling you, those are the facts based on medicine, based on medical proof. So the research wanted to avoid anything like that. So that's why it wasn't just that she was having 4 meals, it was the spacing and the timing in between. Then 2 days a week, the timing became even more important. Because on those 2 days out of 7, 2 out of 7, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only the exotic foods, but this time she ate them 8 times a day. Liz, does that make sense? Liz, do you get this? 8 times a day. So she was eating about every hour and a half. Again, the timing was critical because now she had really small quantities of food, but bulk, but huge amounts of nutrition. And they had to ensure, or they wanted to prove, they tried different combinations. They tried like every hour and then tried every 3 hours. So they finally figured it out that the best combination was approximately about every hour and a half. Not a year for, well, in this case, 13 years, some of them. I know this sounds like science fiction. I know it's really hard to believe. But all I can tell you is I've been doing this 23 years. We've helped over 500,000 people. It's not a joke. I mean, most women will lose a whole dress size in a week with no exercise. How much would that excite you? I mean, it's glitching out again, no sound. Huh. That is just not good, folks. That is just not good. I don't know what in the world is going on. I wish I could get a hold of my tech guy. Let me see, maybe I can. Let's see. Hannah Kitson, I hope he's not boosting. Oh my God, no. You're completely missing the point. I agree. One, and my coworkers took the shot and lost a ton of weight. Looked great at first, but now looks awful, and she acts different too. Yeah, no, nothing to do with nothing. Well, there's only 10 people in this live, and I'm not getting an answer, so maybe not. I didn't even see your question. So, is this live? Yeah, it's live. You know, apparently. Yeah, we're just having technical issues today. That's really what's going on. So, I'm not sure if you all can still hear me or not, but let's see if I can do something about it. Hold on just 1 second here, everybody. I'll come back in just a moment. Yeah, Mia, you can see it's completely whacked again. It's stopping, it's stuttering. People think, and I'm not seeing any of those chats at all. I'm not seeing any chats, whatever. So let me come back on here. Can all of you hear me now if I come back on? Yes, I hear you. I really apologize, everybody. We're having technical difficulties. My web guys are actually on this website because we've had this problem now 2 days in a row where all of a sudden the sound cuts out and again, my web guys are working on it. So people are asking me questions and thinks I'm not answering. I'm not seeing it in the chat. So please don't think that I'm not answering your questions. And whether there's 10 people live, the only thing that should matter to you if you're on this, if it can change your life, or go count calories. Go follow these influencers. They have 5,000 people in there. They're telling you something that's making you completely unhealthy. Wow, we got 2,500 likes. That's a conference is choppy. Can't follow, but I won't give up. Good, Lisa. Well, Lisa, before we get any worse off, Lisa, here's where you would want to go. Tell me you can read that above my head, the new health conversation. Can you hear that? Is that not choppy? The new health conversation. Can you hear that? Yes. Okay. So Lisa, what's there? And for all of you, I'm terribly sorry. I know a lot of people want to hear this information. I'm really sorry about this. We're going to work on this like crazy over the next couple hours because I'll probably do another live around. Obviously, I can't guarantee you're hearing what I'm saying. So if you go to the website, there's a detailed overview of what's possible. And then you get a free, you notice right above free coaching. Can all of you hear that? When? 2 o'clock Eastern time. I'm going to do another live. If we get the problem solved, I'll do another one about 2 o'clock Eastern time today. Okay? Who else would like to ask me a question? If I can answer it. If I'm still breaking up, we got to try and solve these technical issues because it's making you and me absolutely crazy. So would anybody else like to ask me a question? And again, I want to leave this up because it's the only way apparently you're going to get the information that you want because the internet is going haywire for some reason. So you can see it, the new health conversation. That's the free website to go and see all the medical proof. And if you like what you see, scroll down, you get a free coach. It's free. Because we have kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady 91 years old doing this. We have people with no thyroids. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with no gallbladders. We have people with a kidney transplant, all kinds of things. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or making any medical claims whatsoever. That's what's so great about this because it's backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. Yeah. Yes, exactly. 2 p.m. Eastern time. That's exactly right. Yes. Yes. And hopefully we'll get the technical issues. So please tell us the bottom line that do we do. Just go to the website and follow what they say. Well, Blake, the only reason that I'm cautious about that a week, 38 inches with no, see now it's jumping again. Please say it again, you cut out. Okay, Blake, can you hear me now, Blake? Give me a yes or no. I'm just waiting for someone to confirm that you can actually hear me, because I do want to try and explain how in the world she did. Okay, yes, all right. So, Blake, what she didn't do was count calories. What she didn't do was go on a diet. What she did was she followed this new protocol invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the whole world, okay, the top people. And what they did was they figured out that the reason diets didn't work after 40 years of research, 100 studies, thousands of people, that the human body doesn't care about calories, doesn't know what a calorie is, and doesn't count calories. When you go on a diet, all you're doing is lowering the amount of food you're consuming, and by definition, you're lowering the amount of nutrition. Blake, does that make sense so far? Give me a yes or user 419, just so I make sure you're hearing me. So Joe or user, can you hear me? It's really important so I'm not just stumbling over. Okay, you can hear me. So to review, Blake, a diet is reducing the quantity of food, which reduces the amount of nutrition. Now, what's so bad about that is the brain only runs on nutrition, along with the heart, all your organs, right? So think about it. When you go on a diet and you lower the amount of nutrition, the brain thinks you're starving to death and triggers the starvation mode in the body, which is survival to become down, and your immune system. Does that make sense? Freezing. Okay, well, hopefully we're unfroze now. We lost you at triggering starvation mode. Okay, let me come back. Can everybody hear me now? Can you all hear me? Give me a yes. You're being so patient. I should thank you, audience. This is really great of you. All right. So starvation mode. In starvation mode, what does the brain have to do for survival? It slows down your metabolism. It's not up for debate. This is what happens on any of these diets. When you slow down your metabolism, that's why you plateau. That's why you gain all the weight back. But the other thing it's doing to you by losing lean muscle, this will shock all of you. It also slows down your own immune system. So by going in these diets and counting calories and doing all the nonsense that I see on here, you're actually making yourself unhealthy, unknowingly, unwittingly. On diets, by counting calories, you're making yourself unhealthy. So the researchers said, wait a minute, we need a new approach. Can we go find foods that our criteria is maximum of nutrition, but in the smallest quantity of that food? And that's exactly what they set out to do. They created a grocery list, 30% of what she consumed. Blake, let me keep going, okay? I promise it'll be another minute or so, but it'll be worth it because it's not just the nutrition. I need to explain to you what they physically did. So anyway, 30% of her food came from the grocery store, but here's the part you probably missed, Blake. 70% of the food that she consumed didn't come from the researchers, didn't come from us. It came from other researchers who for 20 some years had gone around the world, Blake, to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. Okay? So now they have what? The ingredients, but they don't have the recipe. So then they invent but Blake, you couldn't do this with regular food. If it was 100% regular food, it wouldn't work. 5 days a week, they let her have 4 meals a day, Blake. They had these exotic foods around the world. That was breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods from around the world. Now, what was so critical about that to all of you, now the key is, okay, so the key was, Blake, did you hear about the intermittent nutritional fasting? That's most critical part of this whole thing, where she had 8 meals a day, eating about every hour and a half. Yes or no? Yes, you did hear it. Okay, great. I unfroze. So, but the key to this whole thing, Blake and everybody else, is not that we can get the weight off you. That's a given. The most important part of this is maintenance. Like in my case, Blake, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. Now, when we look at men, here's what's amazing. Look at this gentleman here, Blake. Older guy, 40 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days, but look at his blood work. His blood work, his A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides from 242 to 124. That's in 30 days, Blake, 30 days. Give me a comment. What do you think about that? Look at his stomach, Blake, with no exercise. No one was allowed to exercise. They actually wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Not that the researchers were against exercise, of course not. It was all about the fact they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. Otherwise, you would have said, well, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. Or when you look at my, this is a friend of a realtor friend of mine. Look at that, Blake, 60 pounds in 3 months. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her stomach area. There's nothing like this on planet. Are going to, well, I can show you, I'll show you right here. For example, this is what you'll get, Blake, from the coaches, because this is what they use to coach you. And all these yellows here are pretty much daily videos from the researchers who don't have anything to sell. They're teaching you how to do what they did. And you'll see on here, for example, what's so cool, you actually can, I think you can read it there, recommended food list, and then the daily schedules. And then you see these little squares. Those are daily videos guiding you through each day. This is what you're doing. This is why you're doing it. This is why scientific is safe. There's no program like this in the world. So you're literally getting coached by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world, virtually, of course. And you have a free live coach that'll talk to you every single day and follow you and teach you how to get the maintenance. How great is that, everybody? There's no equivalent to this. None, zero. So again, all of you, Blake, so you see the website, I'm asking you, the New Health Conversation. Please give me a yes if you can see it, because that's where you go to see all the medical proof, and then you can scroll down and get a coach, and they'll go over everything with you. And it's 100% free, Blake, the whole time. And as I said, Blake, 70% those exotic foods you're buying in the first 30 days, they give you 100% money back guarantee in the first 30 days if it doesn't work. Now, nothing's 100%. I wouldn't be that dumb to say that, but I didn't sell it to you anyway. But they're that confident that if you do this, you're going to have such amazing results. There's no way you want a refund. You want to keep going to maintenance. Maintenance is really simple. I didn't even explain that to all of you. You know how simple maintenance is? Exotic food for breakfast, 2 normal meals, and maybe once every 8 weeks do another 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast. That's how easy it is. I've been doing it for 23 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks. I've kept it off for 23 years. That's what you should be focusing on. Good, good. So Blake, you know where to go. That's wonderful. All of you can go to that. Oh, there he is. So my tech guy is back. So again, bear with us as we're trying to work through these problems. And if I apologize if you're having trouble hearing me or seeing me or it's freezing or whatever, it's not you. It's on this end. We're having this problem for all of you. But in the meantime, we're at 2,600 likes. Can we get some more taps on that screen and get to at least 3,000? Right? Who else would like to? Who else would like to ask me a question? So, Nyan, I hope you can hear me. I know you're not talking right now because you're working on the website, but I assume you're working on it and we should just keep going. Can you put something in the chat for me, Nyan? I'm talking to my tech guys just to see if we can avoid or fix the problems that are going on. So we kind of have to stay on live in order to be able to do it. So again, everyone, can you tap on your cell phone and let's get that above, let's get that up to at least 3,000 or more people, okay? So Nyan, I'm assuming you're there. I'm assuming you're working on it. Give me some indication in the chat or the comments on the TikTok side or on the other side, just so I know to stay on and keep going. I'm assuming that's what you want me to do. So who else would like to ask? Come on, let's get some more taps on the screen and get to 3,000 while we're waiting for this. So who else would like to ask me a question? Steve or user 419, or how did she do that? Is it real? Is it photoshopped? Is it AI? Is it fake? Are we lying to you? Are we not explaining to you what she did? Because we're happy to do that. Can't hear you. Ah, wow. That's just horrible that it keeps doing that. So, I'm sorry, can you hear me now? User 419, can you hear me now? Please give me a yes. Because we're having terrible internet problems, and that's why it's glitching, and we're actually staying on live to see if we can fix it. The only way we can fix it is to be on live and figure out when the problems are. Yeah, you can hear me. So user 419, are you curious about how she did that? Is it real? Is it photoshopped? Did we fake you out? Are we lying to you? So I'm just curious, user. Yes. Yes, you'd like to know what she did? I'm just waiting for your response because I want to make sure you can hear me first. Okay, great. All right, so here's what she did. First of all, this is not a diet. Secondly, it was just featured on the cover of Women's World magazine, the #1 women's magazine in the world, on June 9th. You can read it, Over 50 Protein Miracle. That's their explanation. I did coach these two women. The daughter, who is 57 years old, lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mother, who's 8 new health conversation. Yeah. Yeah, I'm afraid of that. I'm sorry. Again, we're having all these technical issues. But can all of you see that above my head in blue, the new health conversation? The best thing I would say is go there, take a look, see what's there, and you can get a free coach. I'm not making it up. We coach you for free. Because we have kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady 91. We have people with no thyroids. We have people with a man with a heart transplant. We have people with no gallbladders, people with kidney transplants, and we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or making any medical proclamations whatsoever. Hopefully I'm unfrozen now, Joe. But for all of you, I guess the best we're going to be able to do right now because of the technical problems is you can go to that website and see the medical proof. Maybe I can show you the website. Yeah, I can. Okay, everybody, there's the website you would go to. There's nothing to buy there. The only thing there is the medical proof and the explanation of what they did, how they did it, why they did it. And if you like what you see, then you can scroll down and you can get a free coach. Does everybody understand that? But if you want to know, for example, how did April lose 60 pounds in 3 months, you can go to that website, The New Health Conversation, and see for yourself. Let's see if I can put it in the comments at the bottom here. Let me just try this. The new, whoops, new health. Let's see, health Okay, user 419, and it's still off. Okay, on my back, user 419. Because while we have I'm hoping I can get this back. And it's still off. Can you hear me? Yes, okay. Look, real quick. Hold on just a second. Do you see right above my head there in blue, the New Health Conversation? That's the website you want to go to that has all the explanations and how you can get a free coach, and the coaching's free the whole time. Please tell me you can hear that, user 419. Do you see it there in blue, right above my name, all of you, the New Health Conversation? That's where you go to get the free information. I did. Do you see it now, 419? Do you see above my head in blue, the New Health Conversation? Do you see it? Give me a yes, please. Yeah, it's not on my Facebook page. That's why. You need to go directly, no spaces. That's the website to go to see everything. Yeah, I didn't see the details on. I know you didn't on Facebook, but that's not because. Okay, I think I'm back now. So again, 419, do you see above my head there in blue the New Health Conversation? Well, we have a connection for a second. I want to make sure, give me a yes that you can see that, because that's where you go to get all the information and get a free coach. Can you hear me now? User 419, can you hear me? Yes, good. And so just give me a yes. You see the website finally where you want to go. Yes? The New Health Conversation, right above my head in blue. Yes, Google the New Health Conversation, exactly. And no spaces, user 419. The New Health Conversation. Yeah, type it in Google, boom, it'll take you right there. And you can see all the medical proof, and you can get a free coach if you want. But 419, we won't contact you if you go there. Only way we'll contact you is if you contact us. Let me be clear. We don't need to do that. We rely on the medical proof to you convince yourself when you see the medical proof or not. There's no books to buy. The only reason my books are there is part of my bio, just so people don't think I'm just some hack, some guy. No, I've been at this for 23 years and wrote 4 bestsellers and a 5th book right now that I wrote the chapter. It's going to every medical doctor in the world, and I wrote the chapter on weight loss and health, a huge honor for me. It's not a bestseller yet, but the other 4 were all bestsellers. Okay? So user 419, that makes sense now. You understand to go to the New Health Conversation, type it in Google, and it'll take you right to the spot, right? Okay, who else would like to? So should I stay on the live? That's the thing.